afternoon, everyone. My name's Nathan Keller. I'm the moderator for today's case study. I'm joined by Alexander Prahl, Head of Sales and Contracting for Tailwind Shipping Lines. And Alexander, today you're going to take us through an overview about Tailwind.
Yeah, many thanks, Nathan. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We are Tailwind Shipping Lines, the shipping line of Lidl. We belong 100% to Lidl. And I will take you on a voyage today in the world of ship different. You know, ocean shipping is sometimes adventurous and sometimes fun, sometimes difficult, a lot of problems. That is why Lidl started with their own shipping line, with Tailwind Shipping Lines. And our main focus is that we get the stuff in the store. So that is the thing which runs us every day. And it's our daily bread and butter. So I guess you have your own products and you also know how it is if things are getting late or things are in time, so no problems. But normally shipping is maybe like the screen now. It's blue, it's nice, it's okay. Things are working, but maybe you don't know all the details. You trust the way it is, but the blue sky is still there. But on other days, it can be like that. So I took this time the wormhole. So I think it presents a little bit the days today, since unfortunately the Houthis were shooting or still shooting around in the Middle East, and the vessel had to deviate. So it interrupted the supply chain quite a lot, and things are different now. Again, problems. We all thought after the pandemic, the waters will be more calm. We're getting back to the blue screen where things are more or less under control, but it is not. We are here in the wormhole. So, but I give you an opportunity to get out of the wormhole. So we were thinking a long time how to do it. So we did the typical PowerPoint ping pong with a lot of slides in Lidl when we were thinking after the pandemic, what can we do? How can we get away from to be dependent on others, from intransparency, no control, from reacting to acting. So finally, we started Tailwind Shipping Line. And you can see it was actually a quite fast journey before, or since we had the first sailing in October 21. The PowerPoint ping pong was finalized. We went to the board, and just to give you a little story, we had roughly 50 pages, if I remember correctly. And finally, our board member responsible for us said, okay, I will take it to Mr. Schwartz, the owner of Lidl, and he printed it all on one word page, keep it simple, and said, hey, we need to start our own shipping line. We think it makes sense. And Mr. Schwartz said, okay, very interesting. What do you want to do exactly? So we said, we need one vessel so we can collect all the important cargo on the vessel, so at least that one is safe and secure. And he said, well, then with one vessel? Why one vessel? Why don't you buy 10 vessels? So and then let me know if things are not running smooth, otherwise you go ahead. And so it worked. Today we have altogether 9 ships, 6 ships in our Far East Europe service and 3 feeders catering. I will tell later some details. But you can see even Lidl is a huge company, we all know, but I think it is quite fast when you say you start in October and in July 22, so nearly not a year later, you have the first departure out of China. You can imagine it was a little bit chaotic, and we learned a lot since the start, but now we are in calm waters and the things are running. So what you get when you ship with us is reliability. We are reliable. That is our main focus. That is a Lidl focus. We are at the ports we say we're gonna be, and you have the insurance by Lidl, so to say, that we are really there, because we cannot afford to deviate. We cannot afford to go to another continent, do another transshipment here, or discharge a container over there and don't tell you, and all the stories you may know from your own experience. We have to be at our ports all the time. So Lidl acts a little bit as your advisory board, and taking care of the quality we provide. Looking to the schedule integrity, to the score, speaking a little bit boring numbers, but we basically are at 100% all the time. I mean, there are sometimes strings attached when we call some ports, there's congestion, there's bad weather, that happens, but we are talking about days. Normally we are talking about hours. We had one customer who was very used that we were always on a Thursday at 5 o'clock in the morning in Copa, and then the Houthi started, so we deviated south around the Cape of Good Hope. So that is additional 3,500 additional sea miles, and we came finally to Barcelona, and we were 13 hours late. And this customer called me and said, "Hey, you're 13 hours late. What's happening?" All my customer, it's a forwarder who's sitting on the left side from me, so we cooperate with them. And he called, "Hey, all our customers are used to be punctual. Why are you 13 hours late?" And I said, "Well, we sailed another 3,500 sea miles. I'm very sorry, but that is how it is this time." But I think what I want to say is it's relative. Well, we are not a week late, we are not a month late, we are 13 hours late or a day or two. There's a monsoon season here and there, so that we can't escape. But in comparison, you get the best what you can get on sea. For example, when we look to our own numbers in-house, when you look to the Lidl cargo, only 5% of our goods are delayed. You can imagine that it's a small number. You benchmark that against your own numbers. You make your comparison. I think it's a pretty good number, and for us, it is an okay number. We try to be better than that, but that is how it is at the moment. We are talking about delays of 1 to 2 weeks. Before we had delays, which we don't even knew because they said it's normal. There's no delay because it just takes 8, 9, 10 weeks longer, and it's normal. So you can debate what is normal or not. But now we say we have delays of 1 to 2 weeks max. Once in a while, normally it's days, but that's the worst case. So, and looking, for example, to the situation mid of December when we had to sail around of Cape of Good Hope, it took us around 10 days to adjust the network. So, and then it was all settled. And that is in comparison to what you get elsewhere, perfect and very good. Simple, yeah, we try to be simple, simple in different manners, simple from the beginning in our talks with clients, simple in the way we do offers, how do we cooperate, but much more, or maybe in a different way, much more important, we have a simple network. We call basically 4 ports. Taichung is called by a barge. You won't feel it, you get your bill of lading, as we would call by our mainline vessels. So you have altogether 3 ports in China plus Taichung, Qingdao, Tangcheng, Shanghai, by the way, then Ningbo, Dashan Bay. Then we have a quick stop in Colombo, where one of our feeder in the Tiger service catering for Chattogram. And then we go down via the Cape of Good Hope to first Barcelona now, and then to Copa, and in Barcelona we transship to Moerdijk. So you see the setup is pretty simple, so that means less risk in the supply chain, less risk in everything, in port congestion, in the distance, in heavy weathers, in all that kind of things. The risk is minimized as much as we can. All the ports are attached to the cargo flow of Lidl, but that is why you can guarantee that we call this ports. There won't be any skip of Barcelona suddenly or Copa. Or Moerdijk, we have to go there. So again, it is simple, it is reliable. To go a little bit further in our details, we offer also space when we go to Barcelona, and we have our feeder to Moerdijk. So you can also load and get cargo on board from Barcelona to Moerdijk. These are 2 feeders. We try to be in a weekly frequency, so you have a steady sailing. In our mainline service, which goes to Barcelona, it's a fortnightly frequency. So that we try to make it most attractive, again, internally for Lidl, but also externally when you come on board. Today with Barcelona, it's a little bit difficult due to the Houthis, a lot of lines calling first Barcelona, so they have an increase of 50% of vessel calls. So that is for every infrastructure, you can imagine a 50% on top of the usual is normally not so easy to digest. So there are some issues, but in the overall picture, it runs still quite smooth. Yeah, that is our other service. Lidl has a lot cargo out of Chattogram, but we use our intra-Asia service, so to say, from China to Colombo, and then via Colombo to Chattogram. You can also use the space on that string. Intra-Asia is, of course, a big market. For us, it's just an opportunity if somebody has needs. There's a lot of materials going from China to Chattogram, to Bangladesh, to build the fabrics. So that is also an option, opportunity. And again, you get your stability, your reliability in the supply chain. So 19 days was the past, but somehow for me as a commercial-driven guy, I'm attached to the past in that regard. Before the Houthis were shooting around, we were passing, like all the others, the Suez Canal, so we connected Darsham Bay with Koper, so China to Europe in 19 days. At the moment, these are 32 to Barcelona, 37 days to Koper, and slightly over 40 days to Rotterdam. And the 19 days is from the past, so I really hope that the world gets a little bit more peace back, and then we will also go back to the old sailing route, sail via the Red Sea, can connect in 19 days, and that's a good opportunity if you need high speed. At the end of the day, we had cases where we had lead times far below 30 days. With one of our partners, we had containers going via Koper, via truck, then to Great Britain to fit into the Black Friday sale. So the vessel arrived on a Thursday. On a Monday, Tuesday, 8 containers reached Great Britain, doors open. And on Friday, you can buy the electronics at Black Friday. So the altogether lead time from Port China to the shop in Great Britain was 28 days, if I remember correctly. Reliable, again, plannable. It's a big company behind this cargo, you can imagine, and they were very happy, and that is possible. So I hope that earlier than later we get some peace back and can go on the 19 days. So together, so that's our 3 principles: reliable, simple, and together. Together means also different things for us. We are very open to partnerships. Lidl loads a certain allocation on all the vessels, of course, and some allocation, some fixed allocation is open for third parties. So we have a lot of other customers on board beside Lidl with looking for the same values. And we're working with them together since the beginning. So they came slowly all on board, and the vessels are quite full in the moment, but we stick to our word, we stick to our agreement. And one important question always came was like, okay, what happens if Lidl has overflows? We also have peaks. What happens then? And then happens nothing to you. Well, you keep staying on board. That was understood from the first day that the third-party space is blocked. It's a certain percentage of the allocation, and that is how it is. We have different ways how we can cater for overflows, for Lidl, for in-house. We had a lot of extra callers where the partners also participated. They always got the first right of refusal. There's another sailing possibility. Do you want to get on board as well? But that was never the case, and there will be never the case where anybody has to go off the ship just because we have a garden share more to ship. Yeah. So what means together? Else we have a lot of partners from the Lidl world, from the Lidl logistics. So one partner we are here today on the Deliver Europe is Move Logistics. Move is a 4PL forwarder for Lidl in China. They do the quality control, warehousing, etc. And they are a partner since 12 years. So you can see we got them on board. We got another company running. They do the ship agency where you book your cargo. So that means together that we stick to the parties we know, for a long time. Here in the Netherlands is Euronordic, our agent. So they are also on board. In Spain, it's Martico. It's also a company from the Lidl world since long time again. They started a shipping agency as well. It is Interagent in Copa. So these are all partners we had from Lidl since a long time again, and you are in good hands with these partners. So that is how we live together. So we also have news. We started another company, Tailwind Intermodal. Lidl has a lot of cargo for Central and East Europe. This cargo goes into Copa and then from Copa to Graz and to Stier. And there's a big logistic center for us. And we started our sister company, Tailwind Intermodal. They do also warehousing, hinterland logistics. So, and they will also take care if you have hinterland logistics. We can just work together. We are very open for partnerships. Lidl, just to give you an example, has around 8 to 10 trains between Copa and Graz. So if you have any need and you like to join the economy of scale, then you can get on board as well. We have a lot of trucks running, obviously, for all the logistics centers, for cross-docks. We can look at that. We have warehouses in Madrid beside Barcelona, so there are also trains running. So we are open via our sister company or Tailwind Shipping Lines and as an entrance door that you join in, and then we see how we can cooperate. We are working with one big furniture company. It has similar colors and Tailwind. And for example, we also started trains running together just to use the economy of scale and make the best out of it in a partnership. Yeah, and we are also digital. Well, we are online, you can track and trace, we have our schedule online, we have our system ready for APIs, and we have reefers, we have 300 reefers, so we can run reefers for you between China, Europe, intra-Europe, intra-Asia, whatever you have. This is from the old times. That time we didn't get reefers to the United States. We have on the East Coast around 150, 180 shops, and the Americans like to eat our deep frozen pretzels. So these guys, they need the supply of the pretzels, so we bought our own reefers since the market was again in the wormhole at the beginning, you remember. So we said, okay, then we do our own stuff. We got the reefers, and we had a lot of shippers own reefers to the States, so that is also available. Yeah, and then I say thank you very much for listening in. Welcome and join us, please. Feel the ship different style, and yeah, I'm looking forward to have you on board. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Alexander.
Yeah.
Probably do some questions now. Just throw it out to the audience if there's any questions. No? I'll kick it off. That's fine. So ship different. Obviously, tagline. I love it. Did that come about just as Tailwind? Were you sitting there thinking? Obviously, it binds everyone together into a vision.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, we had so many problems in the past in Lidl, and you can imagine the cost for ocean shipping is amazing. So the rates are high, then you pay a high 3-digit million figure. If the rates are low, it's still a 3-digit million figure. And it's a big portion of the supply chain. So it was always the black wormhole. No? You're spending so much money. And for the last mile, again, you spend a lot of money. You control it more easily. And then we said, okay, in the 6, 8, 10 weeks in between for ocean shipping, it was just like you play the ball into the audience and see if somebody plays back or not. Yeah. So that we say we need to change it. And then we say, okay, ship different, feel the difference. It costs a little bit more, but that is how life is. You get more quality, you need to pay a dime more. But that is how it comes. And we really try to lift the ship different style in every way. So also when we had issues, we also had a problem recently where we missed a connection. So then we tried to fix it, and for the client, on ourselves, partly with the client, but also on ourselves with the network what we have. So that's all ship different, and it's not get lost ship alone. That's normally the usual.
For sure. And everyone who's been in logistics had the frustration of delays and things not coming, and bringing it in house. Obviously, that control factor. It was a big thing to decide. Obviously, I would have been a bit nervous taking it into the CEO to say we're just going to start a whole shipping company.
Absolutely.
But by the sound of it, it was not don't get one, let's get 10. Like that's a pretty good response to that.
Yeah, well, Lidl is quite huge. If you see Lidl as an individual company, we are doing a turnover of 116 billion euros. If you take the Schwarz Group, it's roughly 60 billion euros. So that also brings some power into the game, and you can do that things. And you just need to be, what do you say, strong enough to also make a different step. Normally, logistic means be more efficient and reduce the cost by 2%. That's the usual stuff, what you hear every year. If you're director of supply chain or procurement, normally it gets more efficient and it gets cheaper. And you need to hop over that and say, if you ship different, you can gain, you pay a little bit more on logistics maybe, but you can gain much more on turnover because your products are always available. So when you all go shopping, you go to Lidl, you see the garden chair, you see the table, you see the pillow and everything. So you buy it all, and then you buy a lot of food stuff as well, and then everybody goes happy home. So if the garden chair is missing, but the table is there, you don't buy anything. So you leave without providing any turnover, and the chance is forever gone. No? That is in discounters, it is how it is. It's not a BMW which you buy, where you say, okay, I wait 1 year for my BMW or Mercedes. You want your garden chair now because the sun is shining, so you did it now and today. So otherwise, if you don't get it, you buy it somewhere else. And that you need to understand that sometimes you spend €1 more, but on the other hand side, you get a 10, 20, 30% more. So where's the problem? But for big companies, it seems sometimes very difficult to find a joint way to get all the silos and the companies together and make one big black calculation.
For sure. And obviously a couple of years on now, successfully doing it, moving a lot of freight. What would you say if there's anyone out here who's got a company, obviously probably not as large as that, but if they're looking to go down this path, what were the key learnings that you took in those first 2 years, and what would you have done different if you had the chance again?
It always comes different as you think. Yeah? I can honestly say, I mean, when we started, the times were more crazy than were today. And we also thought, okay, Lidl knows a lot of other companies, right? Have a lot of vendors, have a lot of suppliers, have a lot of, let's say, partners, friends, and whatever. So you make 5 phone calls, and you have 5 big BCOs on board. They are all happy because there was no space, there was no control, everything was crazy, and the ship is full. And that was one learning curve where we said, okay, the world changes more often and more frequently in a direction which you sometimes hardly can foresee. Also with the Houthis, I mean, they are shooting out of the desert to civilian ships, to the merchant navy. I don't know who foresaw it. Maybe somebody did, but I think the majority of people, they said, well, it's a crazy thing happening in Israel, but nobody foresaw that. And a lot of things happening. And in the future, I think also other things will happen. And that's a learning curve we also had to take. We know how discounters running. Now we know how a shipping line runs. We believe we know, but we are still learning. And that is something which is good. We are very agile and we can adapt. And that was a good proof, actually. One of our competitors was in the news that they canceled a lot of commercials, actually, shifted a lot of cargo or canceled it entirely. And we didn't. We had everything in the shops again. No? The goods were in the shops. So that was the best confirmation we, as a subsidiary of Lidl International or a division of Lidl International, could get, because we delivered. No? Took us 10 days to adjust, so that was the deal. Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing. And just looking at it from like an in-house versus outsourced sort of scenario, what's culturally changed? Obviously from a business being an external partner, are you treated like an external partner? You're treated internally? The KPIs set in unison, or is it pretty much this is what the expectations are? Like, what's that dynamic?
Good question. Well, to be frank, we are part of the inbound logistics. So the head of the inbound logistics is also the MD of the shipping line. So you can imagine the ways are very short. So we are based in Hamburg. Lidl is based in Neckarsulm, but there's a lot of interaction. The guys going up, the guys going down. So we see each other physically, which helps nowadays with all the team screens and this kind of stuff. But on their part, it is pretty easy. But we are also benchmarked, of course. I mean, we did a mistake last year where we thought that we can go on the 1st of January into a port. And the 1st of January is one of the high holidays. So that is also the learning curve. Somebody didn't think about it when they planned the schedule in the long term, and then nothing happened, of course. And then you also have a little cascading effect. Staff is lacking, but the volume's coming, so you always have 1-2 days cascading effect on these high holidays, so-called. And we quickly got a call from the other Lidl side, not so much attached with the logistics side, and said, "Oh, are you on the footsteps now from the regular shipping lines?" So we said, "No, we are not. We're just 2-3 days now behind." But that gonna not be, or will not be, the case in the future. No, so yeah, we are benchmarked, but the company is turning all the parameters into the shipping things. It's also something new, no? Also for Lidl. If you have an in-house tool now, you need to understand in what levels you can go into our own company, and which divisions you can go from procuring goods, making contracts everywhere, fitting into the tool of a shipping line. So that is nothing you do overnight. Nobody so far done it in that to that degree, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Just throw it out to the audience if there's any questions. Just put your hand up, touch the sky. Yes, down the back there.
Hi, my name is Abhik. I was an ex-director at Wayfair and Amazon previously. I have a startup now doing cross-border home decor.
Hi, Abhik.
Quick question is, I mean, it looks really incredible, but we're seeing, at least in the category that I'm in, which is furniture, a lot of shift on the supply side happening from out of China. So this entire China plus one thing playing out. Any roadmap that you have at Lidl to expand beyond China in terms of your source destinations?
Well, first of all, I'm in the shipping division, yeah? So I'm not in the procurement division from Lidl, so it's a bit hard to answer in great detail. But we feel there is a shift of certain products out of China to other destinations. We feel that textiles, the raw materials go from China to Bangladesh, and instead of manufacturing the products in China, also with, let's say, simple electronics, they are moving out. But to keep it from a Tailwind perspective, we're always looking how to cater our best client, or not the best client, that's the wrong word, our biggest client, so to say. Little, if there is another corridor we can enter for them, but so far everything is possible, but nothing for tomorrow on the agenda.
Excellent. Any further questions from the audience? No? I'll continue on. You mentioned about partnerships. Obviously, anytime you're starting, a new venture like this, a startup, albeit a very well-funded startup, I'm sure. But how important were partnerships to you, and where do you see the shape of the partnerships go as you go on?
Yeah, indeed. That is something where you came initially from the learning curve. So we started first the shipping. So you need to run the show with all the vessels and calling the ports, get the reliability up, and now we see in the second step, we had even here on the deliver a lot of talks where the sea freight part is maybe not so the key, but the hinterland logistic can be the key, yeah? Or the warehousing in China can be a key thing where you can cooperate. And the people always see us not as a typical vendor or something. It's more like, oh, you're a discounter, so you have the same needs. If you can do it, so maybe we can join and share the costs, getting bigger, maybe more efficient. And that is something why we we founded finally also Tailwind Intermodal because we are big enough, to be honest, with a lot of hinterland transportation, with a lot of warehouses. And that is one key to go more into the economy of scale and also to control more. Yeah, that is the same thing in the hinterland, that you may run your own train. Then we buy the wagons or rent the wagons. So you do the same thing what you do in shipping, you do also on land. And from reacting, you go into an active role and acting and have everything under control. So that is why the partnerships, we are very open to discuss and see where are your centers, where are your needs. Maybe you wish to go always with the train to that direction, but you you never found the right volume for it. So the economy of scale doesn't work, the rates doesn't work, so it doesn't make sense. But maybe together or even with three parties, it can make sense. So that is a great thing actually. And that is a partnership. It's not talking about we are not running the show as a typical service provider that we're getting more and more bigger and richer. It's a tool. It's an asset we should use in the best way.
For sure. Audience, any questions? No. You'd mentioned around allocation of space. So I've done that in the past where we had containers going into Asia out of Australia, and we'd fill it up with another client. You get the heavy one, you throw the pillow client on top. Just to work that volume. How have you done that? Like, how are you integrating, potential new customers or partners into that transport system? Is it API based? Do they sort of come in? Can anyone come in and negotiate rates potentially?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody can come in. It's no problem. We do it the old-fashioned way. We do it the modern way. We have an online tool where you can get your login, you can place your booking, and it gets approved. In terms of rates, to speak now great detail, that one so far we don't do online because we are a niche carrier. We are small. So it is not like it's not our main purpose to become a second big commercial shipping line. That is why we need the right partner on board, somebody who needs reliability, somebody who needs some speed, and then we need to see how it can fit together. You can just place the bookings with our partners in China, in Spain, in the Netherlands, in Graz, in Slovenia. So that is no problem. You get the direct connection to our system, whatever suits you.
Excellent. And,
of course.
And in regards to obviously the model that you've taken, do you foresee this as being a way forward that logistics is going to go? I think there was a shift where everyone was outsourcing. There was 3PL, then it became 4PL, then it became right or near warehousing, everything like that. Is this the type of thing where people are taking more control of their logistics?
I can only speak from our perspective. What I see is we want to control more of the supply chain. It's a very costly thing, and if the supply chain doesn't work, you and me, we don't get the garden shares. So at the end, we don't get our salary. So that's the system, right? So we better control it. We want to grow. Lidl growth is like 500 new stores every year. So that is quite ambitious, but that was growth in the past as well. So it's actually not so new. We have 13,000 shops. So that we're getting more and more. Even in the US, I think we are a very small player in the States. So there's an extremely high potential, different market, different game. So, but the whole show is to control the supply chain. Again, go away from reacting, seeing problems, or having problems without knowing you have a problem. Going back to the thing, getting the grip on the things. So that is for us the way, and I don't see it any other way. A lot of people thought after the pandemic, Lidl just started the shipping line. It's an asset-heavy thing. It is not pocket money, and it is also not so easy controllable. You see with the Houthis, we have to put in a 6th ship in our 5, normally a service with 5 ships. So you do the service now with 6 ships, and you do the same thing. You just add cost, to be honest. And my crystal ball didn't show it in that detail, unfortunately. So, but still, we are here, and we already experienced 2 years of having the shelf at the right time, at the right place, and in the shops and at the goods in the shelf. So that is our way, and I don't see any deviation from it. Even so, a lot of people were, to be honest, having some doubts.
Yeah, For sure. Just throw it out to any further questions from the crowd? No? No, that's fine. Well, Alexander, thank you so much for taking us through that today. Amazing. It's absolutely amazing what you guys have built, and wish you all the best, obviously, in continuing to get back to 19 days.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Great to be here on the Deliver.
Excellent.
Yeah? Thank you.
Thanks, mate. And thank you, everyone.
Thanks.